I've talked about it a bunch in 2024. 2025, I think this is where the rubber hits the road for these types of companies, which are these home valuation tools. And so I don't want to put everyone into one bucket because each platform is a little bit unique, but the high level is it's a tool that you can load up a client and their addresses in this tool. It'll actually run the valuation of those homes using various databases, which everyone has their own secret sauce. And then you can turn around and actually send that to existing clients. And it's a pretty nice, I really think, stay in touch, I guess, lead generation type tool to be able to say, hey, Tom, we did a deal 2 years ago. This is how much your mortgage was. This is how much you've paid down your mortgage. This is how much your home value has increased. And here's your equity. Because honestly, at the end of the day, that's so much of what borrowers really care about is how much equity. Can they take it out? Are they getting wealthier? Are they getting less wealthy? I mean, if you ask yourself that, that's probably what you care a lot about in your house too, as it relates at least to the financial side of things. And so a really great concept. And I think there's a lot of promise. I've interviewed 4 of them in Canada. Now there's a big one in the States called HomeBot, and a lot of people are basing the model off of that. That's wildly successful. It's raised a ton of money. It's made a bunch of money. HomeBot's a success story. Now there's a few different players trying to do it up here. I've interviewed Dan from Ownwell. I've interviewed Scott from BrokerBot. I interviewed Wendy from NetTrack and Adrian of the Centum Network, who just came out with Mortgage Monitor. And so all these tools are kind of doing something similar. But yeah, 2025, I'm paying attention to it because, again, I think this is where the rubber hits the road. I think looking at all those tools, I've never used them specifically, but understanding as much as I can from them, I think it's all very good tech. I think that used in the right way, there's really ROI for really any broker who uses them. Now, it is a little bit expensive. So again, how do brokers think about that ROI? You as a broker say, hey, if I'm going to be putting up this type of money for this type of tool, how do I make sure I'm getting that money back in my pocket eventually? But I think it's there. I think the case can be made. And so those aren't the big hurdles right now for these types of tools. I think it's all there. I think money can be made for brokers who are using it. It's really just a question of go to market. And I think it's just a good lesson in general for technology as we pay attention to it. You know, the technology sometimes, I heard some big VC guy in San Francisco say once, the success of a startup, of a tech startup, actually isn't the technology. You know, actually, there's no shortage of people out there who like to tinker and make cool tech. You know, the really tricky thing is actually bringing it to market and doing it in a way that is appealing to people, that people understand the ROI, that is very easily adoptable, that isn't going to disrupt them, that doesn't have a lot of friction in terms of onboarding. I mean, a very simple case is Mortgage Monitor, which is honestly, I think they give free to the Centum network. And I think adoption's been tough. So it's more about all these other things that you don't think about of actually getting people to use software and use it effectively, right? So that'll be the big thing. And we'll see. I think that, like I said, rubber hits the road. I think each of these platforms have a very solid base. They've been at it for long enough where they probably saying to themselves, hey, this is the year that's going to be a big year, the make or break. And especially with all the renewals coming up, you know, there's going to be a lot of volume for these platforms to maybe take advantage of. And so, yeah, we'll see. I'm going to pay attention again to that, maybe less so on the technology side, although I'm obviously interested in the tech. I think the real question is, how do these, you know, platforms come to market, come to the broker and say, you know, for me as a broker, why would I do this? How does this make sense? How do you make this so easy? I'm so busy every single day. How do you make this just easy to pick up and go? And so that's what I'll be paying attention to there.